Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with some more updates coming out from the Middle East to share with you. So, we're going to be talking about Israel, Hezbollah, and also Iran in this video. We're going to be starting off with this story that you see here on your screen that Israel's retaliation strike on Iran is expected to be significant and not moderate. This is a major report that came out from Channel 14 News in Israel, and they were reporting that the Israeli retaliation against Iran is expected to be significant and not moderate and will likely cause Iran to respond. So, this is very dangerous that Israel is supposed to be carrying out their strike on Iran, and we've been wondering whether it's going to be something very significant, like maybe a strike on their nuclear facilities or maybe their energy sites or oil and gas industry. Who knows what Israel will actually do? But Iran already said that if they come under attack in any way, that they will strike back against Israel up to 1,000 times harder than what we saw back on October 1st, which was something around close to 200 ballistic missiles that were fired. So they could definitely strike back against Israel much harder than what we recently saw. So we'll be discussing that today. Also, this story that Benjamin Netanyahu convened the security cabinet once again tonight. I think it was around 8:30 p.m. Local time inside of Israel in Tel Aviv. That was just about an hour and a half ago at the time that I record this. So they could be done with their meeting or maybe still holding it right now. And apparently the reason why they're gathering is to decide on how they're going to attack back against Iran. As we heard just a few days ago, that apparently they were not able to come to some sort of agreement on how they were going to strike back against Iran. So most likely that's why they were convening again tonight inside of Israel. So we're going to be discussing different topics today in regards to the wars. Over here, I've got some updates with Hezbollah as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the news and let me start sharing some of this information with you. We're going to start over here on X with Ozen Defender. Channel 14 in Israel's reporting with that the Israeli retaliation against Iran will be significant, not moderate, and will likely cause Iran to respond, with them further stating, "We need to prepare for a significant exchange of blows that might drag the Americans in, which Iran certainly would not want." Okay, so this is very dangerous. The situation over here is very extreme, and definitely if Israel does carry out a pretty significant attack on Iran, it will force them to have to respond, potentially launching thousands of ballistic missiles onto Israel. And that's where things can really get out of control, because we also just heard some reports just yesterday as well that the U.S. was going to be deploying the THAAD air defense system. This is a U.S.-based air defense system that's going to be stationed inside of Israel, and I think upwards of 100 or more soldiers will be stationed in Israel to man this thing. And this is to help prevent and defend attacks coming from Iran. Okay, so obviously U.S. troops are there as well, and if they come under attack, this could definitely draw the Americans into the war. So very dangerous situation. So we're going to move on to our next update here. Ozen Defender, according to the Israeli media outlet Ynet, Prime Minister Netanyahu, Defense Minister Gallant, and Chief of Staff Halevi held a secret meeting last night at the headquarters of the Military Intelligence Directorate near Tel Aviv to discuss the planned Israeli retaliation against Iran. The three leaders reportedly also met here before the assassination strike against Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah in late September. Okay, so these top three, we've got Benjamin Netanyahu, and then Yoav Gallant, the defense minister, and Herzi Halevi, the IDF chief, supposedly held a secret meeting last night to discuss this attack. And then obviously we had the actual security meeting today to discuss this upcoming attack on Iran. So definitely looks like this thing is coming very soon, especially if we hear that they have actually agreed on what they're going to do to strike back. So let's see what happens here. So here was the official report on the Times of Israel regarding the security meeting tonight. It says Netanyahu to convene a security meeting tonight amid preparations for a strike in Iran. This just coming out today. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will convene a security meeting at 8:30 p.m. at the Kira military headquarters in Tel Aviv. Office of one of the participating ministers attending tells the Times of Israel, the meeting comes as Israel continues to insist that it will strike back against Iran for its ballistic missile attack 2 weeks ago. Okay, so this is obviously them meeting to discuss their attack in preparation for a strike on Iran. So that was the official report today. Now we're going to move on to Ozen Defender. Israeli public broadcasting reported earlier today that Iran has informed the United States through back channels that if Israel's response to their latest ballistic missile attack is limited, they will see this round of tit-for-tat exchanges as over. I thought this was very interesting, and this indicates that Iran appears to be very terrified of any kind of an attack on Israel or on Iran themselves, if Israel carries out this attack, that is, excuse me. And obviously, they're afraid of a major strike, or maybe they'll destroy something very significant in their country. Obviously, Iran is trying to do whatever they can to prevent any major attack on their nation, but it looks very likely that the Israelis are going to carry out a very significant attack moving forward. So also, from Ozen Defender, the U.S. Embassy in Beirut has released an updated security alert calling on American nationals to urgently depart from Lebanon, with thousands of seats being added to commercial flights leaving from Rafik Hariri International Airport, though they state these additional flights will not continue indefinitely. Okay, so the U.S. Embassy in Beirut releasing this statement. It says here October 14th, 2024 at 2:28 a.m. location Lebanon event. U.S. citizens in Lebanon are strongly encouraged to depart now. The commercial airport remains open and there is availability on commercial carriers. Please check flight options at this link. And then it says since September 27th, the U.S. government has also added thousands of seats and extra capacity to accommodate U.S. citizens and their family members. Much of this capacity has gone unused. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Most people haven't even chose to leave yet. Please understand that these additional flights will not continue indefinitely. So looks like at some point they may have to cancel some of these flights and evacuate these people, or to evacuate these people out of here. Looks like the U.S. once again calling on their citizens to leave now. And this is definitely another indication that something big could be coming over here if they're having a call on citizens to get out of Lebanon. So pretty insane to see that. Now we're going to move on to Vicegrad 24. Breaking: the Islamic regime and Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, we've been talking about him a lot over the last couple days, has announced that Tehran has stopped its indirect talks with the U.S. and Oman. Oman has long been the interlocutor for talks between Tehran and Washington, particularly the secret talks that birthed Tehran's 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. Okay, so this is him right here, Abbas Araghchi, and he's been coming out speaking very provocative lately, but apparently he has announced that Iran is no longer within indirect talks with the U.S. They have completely cut off all ties and are not willing to discuss anything with the U.S. anymore. And right now it looks like they're just awaiting this strike from Israel and probably getting prepared to respond back. And he even came out yesterday and said that there'd be no more red lines. No red lines at all if they have to strike back against Israel. And even if U.S. soldiers are based inside of Israel, that they could come under attack as well. Okay, so moving on now, we're going to be talking about this strike up in the north side of Israel in the town of Binyamina at the training base for the IDF. As it was struck, there was like a town hall that was being held. They were having dinner, and during this meeting, while they were all eating dinner, that's when this base got struck by a Hezbollah drone, and we had 4 people that were killed and over 60 people injured. Okay, so this is the report here from the informant. The Israeli Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, visited the Golani Brigade's training base near Binyamina after a Hezbollah drone attack on the base's dining facility, which killed 4 soldiers and injured over 60. During his visit, Halevi met with commanders and medical staff, acknowledging the gravity of the attack on a home front training base and praising their swift response in treating and evacuating the wounded. He urged them to support the bereaved families and wounded soldiers and commended the Golani Brigade for its achievements and resilience in the ongoing war, encouraging them to uphold their legacy. So I got a few photos to show you here. Here's Herzi Halevi meeting with some of the soldiers at this base. And we reported on this yesterday. A Hezbollah drone supposedly snuck through the Israeli air defense systems up in the north and struck this town of Binyamina at an Israeli military base, the Golani Brigade's training base near Binyamina, okay? And we had, again, 4 people that were killed, 4 soldiers lost their lives and well over 60 that were injured. So this is definitely one of the most heaviest attacks that we have seen inside of Israel, affecting many soldiers that were wounded. So these are just pictures of Herzi Halevi while he was visiting this base after it had come under attack, okay? So now moving on. Ozen Defender, Israel is said to be planning a large-scale response against Hezbollah for yesterday's drone attack on the Golani Brigade's training base near Binyamina, which resulted in the death of 4 soldiers. Okay, so apparently now Israel planning a large-scale response against Hezbollah. Probably we're going to see a major airstrike campaign once again. Probably hundreds of airstrikes all over Lebanon will probably be seen here. And wouldn't be surprised if we see more airstrikes inside of Beirut once again. We haven't heard of really any strikes in Beirut over the last day or two. There's been a few, but nothing too extreme. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing heavier strikes inside of Beirut due to this attack. So now also from Yoav Gallant, overnight Iranian proxy Hezbollah conducted a UAV attack against Israel, a brutal attack that killed 4 troops and injured many more. It only further points to the ongoing threats posed by Hezbollah and the urgency to take every necessary measure to dismantle their attack infrastructure. My heart and my thoughts are with the families of our heroes, Sergeant Elon Amate, Sergeant Omri Tamari, Sergeant Yosef Hieb, and Sergeant Yoav Agman, and I pray for the speedy recovery of the injured. Okay, so these were the names of the soldiers that lost their lives in this attack yesterday. And obviously upwards of 60 others or more were injured in this attack. So definitely a heavy attack coming from Hezbollah striking this training base inside of northern Israel. So looks like definitely they are going to be responding to this. And as we can see from Yoav Gallant, the defense minister of Israel, stating that this is more proof that they need to dismantle Hezbollah's attack infrastructure. So they're going to be definitely carrying out more airstrikes here, most likely very soon inside of Lebanon. Also from Times of Israel Alerts, live update, Netanyahu visits base hit by Hezbollah drone, says IDF will continue to strike in Beirut. Okay, so the reason why he says they'll continue to strike in Beirut is over the last couple days, there's been a few of Israel's partners, like the United States was one of them, I think even France. Some countries were calling for the strikes in Beirut to stop, and that's why we haven't really seen too many strikes over there inside of Beirut, but it looks like Benjamin Netanyahu coming out and saying they're going to continue striking Beirut anyway, even though there's calls for them to stop attacking that major city, the capital of Lebanon. So a quick update coming out from there. And then also from what the media hides, attacking our soldiers while they were eating is a war crime. Humanitarian organizations must condemn Hezbollah for this attack, says Israeli President Isaac Herzog. Okay, so this is the president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, and he was getting a lot of pushback from this statement as obviously this was a military training base that was struck. It was not civilian infrastructure or anything like that. It was a military base, although we did have 4 soldiers, again, that lost their lives at this base, 60 others that were wounded. And this was his statement that he came out with today, okay? So also, Mario Nafal reports Hezbollah using Russian fiber optic drones in Israel. In Israeli attacks, Israeli media reports that Hezbollah is using fiber optic drones, a technology primarily employed by Russian forces in Ukraine. These drones are almost undetectable by radars and difficult to intercept, posing a new and significant threat to Israeli defenses, according to experts. Okay, so apparently Hezbollah is using some drones, these fiber optic drones that are very difficult to detect by radar and also intercept. And maybe this is one of those drones that were used to target that base yesterday. Probably not, but it's very possible it could have been used. So, yeah, apparently Hezbollah is starting to use more sophisticated drones now, which is going to definitely create some challenges for the IDF to take these things down. And obviously, we've been seeing lots of attacks happening inside of Israel lately. Even rocket attacks have been pretty extreme. Definitely lots of attacks happening inside of Israel lately. And obviously, this is more push for the Israelis to try to dismantle the attack infrastructure from Hezbollah. So moving on now to another update, Iran Observer breaking. Hezbollah is now fully back. The Lebanese Hezbollah has restored its command structure, and now Hezbollah's war machine is on the move, and the Israelis are facing difficult times, says Iranian military official. So Iran's been coming out a couple times lately. This is probably the second or third report that I have seen this. That apparently their command infrastructure is set back up now. They've refilled all their ranks. Everybody that's been eliminated in all these airstrikes that we've been seeing, including Hassan Nasrallah. I don't think they have a secretary general back in office yet for Hezbollah, but apparently they have refilled a lot of their command structure in Hezbollah. Okay, and I've seen at least 2 or 3 reports already talking about this. We haven't seen any official reports coming from Hezbollah or from Israel yet, like the IDF, but very possible that maybe they have elected some new officials to take over some of the new positions that have been lost. Okay. Finally, one last thing to share with you. This report just came out today from open source intel just in. Sonic boom over Beirut as Israeli jets once again break the sound barrier above Lebanon's capital. It's coming. Okay, so this is probably more indication that we're going to be seeing more heavy airstrikes inside of Beirut once again. As we saw a lot of this towards the beginning before Beirut started to come under attack. We would see a lot of times that Israeli warplanes would break the sound barrier over Lebanon. I've shown you guys video footage coming out from there where these jets were doing that at one point. It looks like they're starting to do this again, and obviously to send a message to Hezbollah that more attacks most likely are coming, as according to Benjamin Netanyahu, he came out and said they're going to be striking Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, continuously, even though there are calls from Western partners around the world to discontinue those attacks. So just wanted to share some of the latest updates coming out for the Middle East. This is the most I got for you guys right now, though. I hope you did get something out of this. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.